What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to the channel. As we are 4 days away from the MLB trade deadline, the New York Mets have some holes to fill. That is top three rotation, bullpen arms, and center field. Are they going to get all three of those things? It is yet to be determined, but we do know Stearns is cooking. Stearns is working the phones. Stearns is trying to get this team better. And the latest reports are the Mets have interest in Rays utility guys, second base outfielder Brandon Lowe. And that is something that, kind of was like, don't we have enough infielders? Don't we have enough outfielders minus center field? That would be interesting. Does that mean Mark Vientos is on his way out? Because if you bring in Brandon Lowe, he's going to take that roster spot of Mark Vientos. And Andy Martino has just reported that there's a really good chance that the Mets are very willing to trade Mark Vientos in particular deals that obviously we don't know where he would be in a trade, but all indications are Vientos could be on his way out, and Brandon Lowe makes a lot of sense if that's the case, considering the fact that the Mets don't go the center field route and they don't get Luis Robert, they don't get Cedric Mullins. Then Brandon Lowe could be the second baseman. McNeil and Tyron Taylor can platoon in center field, and Beatty and Mauricio will play. One of them will be DH, which most likely will be Mauricio, and Beatty will play third base. And that kind of solves a lot of that logjam you're currently having when it comes to guys that are not necessarily playing well or playing at all over other guys on this roster. And it's soon going to be determined which guys are going to be off this team. And I truly believe that Vientos and Acuna are not going to be on this team come August 1st. So, Brandon Lowe, the Mets have interest in Brandon Lowe. Makes sense considering the fact that if Vientos is on his way out, Lowe can fill that roster spot. He can play multiple areas of the infield, which Vientos cannot. And he provides a little bit of utility where he can play the outfield as well. Also, and he's had good numbers. So, what would it take to get Brandon Lowe to the New York Mets? And I think it looks like this, guys. Brandon Lowe is going to take a little bit. I would give up Luis Acuna, and I would give up a top 45 prospect in Ramon Gomez, who's in high A Syracuse, right? Excuse me, high A Brooklyn right now for the New York Mets in their farm system. I think this is a solid trade. I think you get a top prospect in Luis Acuna. I think he'll benefit from being on a team like the Tampa Bay Rays, is the fact that he would be on the roster right away and he would play wherever they decide to put him, in second base, third base, wherever, shortstop, wherever they want to put him. I think he fits better with the Rays. He doesn't fit well with the Mets right now. He barely plays, and it shows every time you look at the lineup and he's not in it and he's just twiggling his thumbs on the bench. Use him as an asset. Get Brandon Lowe in here. Makes Vientos expendable. And you can use Vientos in a number of possible trades to bring in breaded talent in here to help this team. Ultimately, maybe Vientos isn't a package that would go to the Marlins for Eric Cabrera or a Sandy Alcantara or even a Gallen or even a Kelly or a Mitch Keller for that matter. A lot of options here, and a lot of teams look like they like Mark Vientos, and that is something that where the Mets very much can have Vientos expendable if they can make a deal here with the Rays to get Brandon Lowe. So it'll take Luis Acuna and Ramon Gomez, in my opinion. Really good season, 19 home runs, 50 RBIs, 269 average, 800 OPS, and slugging 480. His contract, David Stearns likes this, club option for next year at $11.5 million. He can probably hit between 25 and 30 home runs, knocking about 80 RBIs, probably still be batting around 260, 270. Very good offensive numbers. That's exactly what you need. You need somebody that puts a bat on the ball. He's a 270 hitter. He has pop. You can put him right in the 5-6 hole, maybe, it just provides more length to this overall lineup. With Alvarez looking like he's on the resurgence here, with Brett Beatty doing what he's doing, Mauricio's doing what he's doing, adding Brandon Lowe into this would be a pretty good bet. You wouldn't have to worry about center field and making a trade for that. You can just use more of your assets that you might have used for center field and go get a starting pitcher. Imagine that, guys. but I got something better for you guys. Would you do this deal? I don't think it's a bad deal. I think it's a fair deal for both ends. Mets get the bat they desperately need, and Acuna can be used as an asset, and the Rays probably benefit more for Acuna than the New York Mets do. But I got something better for you guys. What if you kill two birds with one stone? What is the other thing the New York Mets need besides a bat? Bullpen. So here we go, guys. Pete Fairbanks, along with Brandon Lowe, in a trade. You give two top 10 prospects in Blade Tidwell, AJ Ewan. I'm willing to even give a little bit more. But this is what I would put right here, right? This is to start the conversation. Hey, AJ Ewan, jumping up the minor league system right now, playing pretty well, on the verge of, being, he's already in the top 10. Good sign there. Blade Tidwell, we see what he can do at the big league level, has some good starts, has some bad starts, but there's upside there. But guess what the Tampa Bay Rays love? They love upside. They love control. And you know what? Maybe if you have to put in a Jesus Baez or somebody else, maybe a little bit higher, somebody that they might want, give them somebody else. Give them another pitcher in there. I'm willing to do that because Brandon Lowe will be the bat you're missing. Pete Fairbanks will be another really damn good arm in this bullpen, and you kill two birds with one stone. You solve the issue with the bat. You don't have to go out and get a center fielder that is up in the air, where Luis Robert, you don't know if it's going to be good or bad. Cedric Mullins, same thing. So you're giving up assets for guys are actually good. They're having good seasons. Fairbanks can just slot into this rotation, another 6th, 7th, 8th inning guy. Great. You got him with Soto. That kind of solves a lot of your holes in your bullpen, and you make your bullpen better. You make your lineup better. Blade Tidwell and Ewan, what is the point, right? Get rid of them. Use them as assets. And guess what, guys? You still keep all the guys that everybody's been clamoring to keep. And you're basically almost done with your trade deadline. And now you got any assets that you're still willing to trade that you didn't give up in any deal, in the Gregory Soto deal, or the possible this deal, or just Lowe deal, Allow deal. Guess what? Now you can use those to get that starter, guys. Imagine that. I really like this deal. And again, I'm willing to give a little bit more in this deal because you are getting a good amount back. You get very, very good players here in Pete Fairbanks and Brandon Lowe. Pete Fairbanks, look at his numbers. 4-3, 2.84 ERA, 17 saves, 36 innings, a whip of 1.132. And guess what? Another Stearns favorite. Club option for 2026 at $7 million. This is where you want to give up a little bit more, where I think Stearns is be comfortable giving up a little bit more. Why? Both of these guys got club options for next year. That is huge, right? It sounds better than a rental like a Zach Gallen or even a Merrill Kelly, right? Stearns ain't going to be as comfortable giving up assets for rentals. These are not rentals. Brandon Lowe, and with Jeff McNeil in the wind after this year, Brandon Lowe can be your second baseman for next year. You could still, if Vientos is on his way out, Mauricio or Beatty can be your DH while the other one plays third base. It solves your logjam. It makes your team better in 2025. And when he goes to 2026, you kind of have your infield somewhat set for the 2026 season, as long as the Mets re-sign Pete Alonso. So it solves not even the present, but the future. That should excite the prospect huggers. That should excite Met fans who want to win. This is a solid trade. And again, guys, I would add a little bit more here to get both of these guys here because it solves both issues. The extra bat, you throw McNeil in center field, which Stearns talked about. You solidify your infield. Vientos is on his way out at that point. And now you solve the issues that we've been talking about over the last couple of weeks. What do you think of this trade, guys? Brandon Lowe, Pete Fairbanks to the Mets for Blade Tidwell, AJ Ewan. And for a sweetener, add another top 15 prospect in there, maybe another pitcher, and we get this deal done. Or would you just want to go with Brandon Lowe a little bit too much? You don't want to do that? How about Luis Acuna, who's basically not useful on this Mets team? Use him as an asset. He'll fit better with the Rays, and throw in another top 40 prospect in Ramon Gomez, and you get Brandon Lowe and solves your bat issue. What do you think, guys? This trade or this trade? Let me know in the comments, guys, what you think. Thank you guys for watching. And as always, Met fans, let's go Mets.